Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Cobra Stun. So, Cobra Stun was first released in the United States in 1986. It included the driver Moto Viper, and the Stun was also sold in 1987 and discontinued domestically in 1988. Now, we do have a nice picture of the Moto Viper. Moto Viper was released as part of the fifth series of 1986's packaging exclusively with the Cobra Stun. He was also sold in 87 and discontinued in 88 domestically here. Um, in 89, the Moto Viper was available mail in to Hasbro Direct as part of the Special Missions Drivers set with Ace, Thunder, Lampreys, Keel Hall, Strato Viper in 91 and 92. Moto Viper was available from Hasbro Direct as part of the Cobra Patrol unit with Strato Viper and a Fang helicopter. Leftover Hasbro stock of this figure was sold at the 93 G.I. Joe convention. So there we are. So, looking here at yojo.com, as we always start off, we have a nice front view. Keeping in mind that this splits open, I don't understand the real reason outside of it just kind of looked kind of coolish. And it's something that Cobra always kind of came up with, some kind of zany vehicles, but in a lot of regards, some very iconic vehicles. And then we have a rear view of this. Now, keep in mind, so we have a driver in the center, right behind the two gunner stations that can split. And we have two gunners there. So that's a crew of three. But looking at the pegs here, it looks like we can have 6 to 8 soldiers on the back of this, somewhere in that neighborhood. Actually, it's going to have a crew of four because we did have a rear gunner here. This looks like something that, in all honesty, would be created by Zartan and the Dreadnoughts because it's got kind of a motorcycle vibe to it. So that's my view at it all. As you see different design trends and things that kind of come up from different characters or whatever. Zartan was always a kind of master of disguise, but then you see that he also came up with the um, Play-Doh creatures or whatever that can mimic people perfectly. So, you know, he's not just a espionage agent. He had a lot of extra brain power for other things. So, um, it'd be very interesting to see all the different things that he kind of came up with, and maybe we'll have to do a dive on him at some point too. Okay, so we have a side view. We had a second side view on the other side. So looking at this, so here, if you're watching this and you can see the mouse, we have our driver in the middle. Um, we have two front stations with our gunners. We have a rear gunner station, and it looks like a step or a possible second seat in the back. So um, that gives us one passenger for sure. And then we have foot pegs on the side that, we were sticking characters on there. So you could have 7 additional troopers sitting on this for sure, with a possibility of maybe some extras. So, um, and then we have, an angled front view and another angled front view from the other side. This is an interesting looking vehicle. I just don't know the practicality of it, but it made for great cartoons. I don't think in the cartoon we had it sloped up as high as what we do as an actual vehicle. Um, Keeping that in mind, and the front wheel trend like this was a very 80s idea because that's when the three wheelers really started coming out and becoming popular. Of course, we have two flags, two engine covers. Here's our rear machine gun, and we had 3 discs with the Cobra symbol on it to go over the wheel hubs. And we have our box art, a better box art there. Our rear box, our schematics, which is where I was always trying to grab our information from, and we go from there. All right, the two flags and the stun or on the stun are frequently lost. Everything else, I think, kind of clipped together. So Sunbow actually has it here, and that it's got the it's got two of them side by side. So we got one of them all closed up, and like I said, it wasn't pitched up as much as it is in the actual toy. Um, and then the second one here is all opened up as they're shooting away. And then we have our schematic here. It's 4.2 tons. Speed with a four-man crew, fully loaded, 75 miles an hour, 44 miles an hour cross country. Fully loaded, it can go about 340 miles. Armament is four 3.5-inch high explosive rocket launchers with 400 round drum fired rounds each. So these are shooting rockets. So that's even more interesting. It's drum fed rocket launchers is a different take on things. Um, but here we are. And I believe, all right. Um, yeah, it's just an interesting take. Okay, so let's see. Then we have an updated here. 4.2 tons, 75 mile an hour on the road, 44 miles an hour cross country, 340-mile range. So all that's staying the same. Four 3.5-inch high explosive rocket launcher with 400 round drums in each. Okay. Um, with a 9 millimeter circular magazine with 300 rounds for the rear gun. Conceived during the Serpentor's reign of Cobra, the Stun incorporated a number of surprising features into its design. The most notable is its ability of the front mounted battle shells to rotate to the sides of the vehicle, allowing its gunners to rip into enemy forces at an angle with the rocket launchers. The driver of the Stun sits in the high rearward position, allowing him to oversee the entire field of fire, though making him an easy target at the same time. So, at this possibility of thought, then this might be something that maybe Serpentor had come around for creating. Or maybe it was still something from the Dreadnoughts that, was just kind of done up for them. But so here we have Big Boa here. Honestly, I'm at a loss to figure out exactly who the other gunner is, and it looks like it's Flint coming down on a rope. Um, I just don't know who this is. I just can't make out who that is. So, but it is a wonderful notebook cover. And here we are. We have, okay, Operation Weapons Disaster. Shoot, and I can't think of the name of the. These are like sled bikes or something. I can't think of the name. I know I have stats for them. Um, we have Storm Shadow. Um, Shoot, and I can't think of his name. Is it Ripper? And then we have our driver here. So, and we have what looks like this is either Special Ops. Oh, okay. Special Ops is a video game, and then we have Battleground, which must be the video game as well, and then our commercial spot. So, okay. Now, looking now, we have vehicle construction. We have the Dreadnought Stun, the regular Stuns. Um, So we have the Cobra Stun. We have the. I'm going to say this is the Viper Patrol version of the stun, and a Dreadnought Stun, which is all purple and blue. Oh goodness. Okay, and this was $6.69 back in 1986 when this came out. So you know, to be able to take a few $100s and go all the way back then would just be wonderful to be able to come back with all this stuff. All right, so we bring this into our Star Wars G.I. Joe universe here. So, keeping this at a speeder scale, I really don't know the actual length of this. That's something I did not get. Has a crew of 4 passengers. Actually, I should be relisting this. I think we're going to put passengers at 7. So, it's always kind of nice to go back and look at some of the stuff. We're going to say we're going to carry an extra 200 pounds of cargo. We're going to give 3/4 cover for everybody. That's being very generous. Uh, Maneuverability, I'm going to leave it at 3D. I think that kind of gives a an idea of where I think they were trying to go with this. 75-mile-an-hour move, body strength of 3D plus 1. Um, there's a part of me that says it might be a little over exaggerated, but you know what? Being a military vehicle, and we'll give it that. I think it's fine. All right, so I considered these twin blaster cannons, not missile launchers. Um, so these are at speed or scale. Fire control is at 3D, and I gave it a damage of 5D. So I figured that was probably a pretty representative damage for this. And then we have the twin blaster cannon in the rear. Now, I don't know why I gave it a twin blaster cannon when it's only that, but it's at personal scale and it's 4D. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think we'll leave it at that. We'll beef it up and make it sound better than what it really is. But it's fine. Whether I call it a single or a twin or whatever, it's kind of immaterial. I think. To keep it a true flavor, yeah, why don't we take the twin off? We'll just leave it as a blaster cannon. It's at personal scale, so you're not going to take out other speeders with this very easily. Because keep in mind, my fire control might go up a little bit for trying to aim, but my damage goes down if I'm shooting another stun like this. So I'm only doing a 2D damage to something that has a 3D plus 1. Now, it doesn't mean that if it's a standard car, maybe a civilian moped or something like that, yeah, I could probably rip through it. But you're talking about something that doesn't have much in armament, probably on par with the gun, not a major deal. So another interesting vehicle from the Cobra side of the campaign. Uh, Fun to bring it in here. We start getting some more kind of off the wall vehicles as we go on, and I don't know how far I went, but we will continue all the way through. If I haven't made it yet, we're going to get it made. We're going to see how far we go. Um, and with that, I hope you enjoy the series. It's fun bringing this stuff to you. I want to say I had one of these. I know I had one of these. And it was a fun toy just to kind of play with, just the fact that it could open up. But, the bringing into, you know, our G.I. Joe Star Wars universe, whether people use it or don't, or, I think everyone's going to have their own preferred vehicles that they're going to want. So trying to bring this out so that way everybody gets to see it. You could bring your own flavor into your own G.I. Joe Star Wars universe in the D6 world. Um, it's just a lot of fun. So, with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the next video.